Guess what? Shooters have rediscovered revolvers, and they are hot right now. And we're going to show you why. So buckle up. Hi everybody, welcome to LocaCarnivore. Glad you could join us. Well, tell you what, a long time ago in, well, this particular galaxy and not too far away, most people carried something like this, a revolver. Piece of cake. Accurate. I love this gun. There we go. Now for the nasties. Make sure I get that gun in the frame here for you. A little different. In fact, up till about maybe three and a half decades ago, this is something that would be on the hip of almost every law enforcement officer in the United States. And in fact, almost worldwide, except for maybe continental Europe. Revolvers were the thing. And then came along things like this. And a lot of people started to start carrying things like this. However, there's about 25% of the people out there that would still rather have one of these. And we're going to show you why that is the case and why revolvers are making a big comeback. Now, in that last 3 decades where everybody seems to have just beat feet and transitioned over to high-capacity semi-automatics for the most part, revolvers, they still hung around and they were still out there, but driven primarily by interest in small revolvers like this little Smith & Wesson here. And I don't have anything with any of the brands that I'm going to mention, so just deal with that. That's just the way it is. I don't get any product from them. I don't get any help. I don't owe them anything. They don't owe me anything. So here we go. Driven by interest in small, concealable, easy-to-carry revolvers, the revolver market has really made a resurgence in the last couple of years, to the point where it's about 25% of the overall handgun market. So that's pretty darn significant. You figure 1 in 4 handgun owners is selecting and buying a revolver, at least one. So that gives you a pretty good idea that this is a very popular gun. Even people that have been carrying semi-automatics for a long time are starting to recognize or rediscover, if you will, the virtues of a revolver. So let's explore that and see why it is that revolvers are so hot right now. Well, the first virtue of a revolver is its simplicity. And this is what attracts people most, frankly. The fact that you can very easily push a button, open the cylinder, and all the guns I'm going to show you have been safety checked, by the way, and verify that the gun is unloaded or loaded, and then quickly put the cylinder back into battery so that your operation is priceless to a lot of people. It's very simple. They don't have to worry about magazines and what's in the chamber, what's not in the chamber, how do you find out, all this stuff. It's just very simple gun. And a lot of people, particularly first-time firearm owners, are interested in that simplicity. It also makes it easy to clean. All you have to do is just clean out the chambers. You don't have to take the thing all apart. You clean the barrel, a couple spots of oil, maybe on the crane or whatever, and on the ejector rod, you're good to go. And even more so, what they're very interested in is the fact that they don't have to worry about manipulating safeties or any other stuff, and the gun is just a point and shoot affair. All you have to do is put your finger on the trigger and pull that trigger all the way through and it'll fire. So that is a big plus in most people's books and why they are selecting revolvers more and more these days. And there's an old saying out there that goes 6 for sure when you're talking about a revolver. That is because the revolver is renowned for reliability. Now, can they malfunction? Yes, there's certain modes that they can decide they're not going to work, but it's very few and far between. Most of the time, you've got a 99+% chance that when you point this thing at your target and squeeze that trigger through, if there's a round under that hammer, it's going to go off. So it is super reliable. And we don't have to worry about all the fun stuff with the semi-automatic as far as clearance drills, and we don't have to worry about our ammunition. As long as it's in the caliber that the gun is chambered for, this gun will function. It doesn't care if the bullets are flat noses or wad cutters or hollow points or full metal jacket or anything like that. You are not going to have an ammo incompatibility problem as long as it is the cartridge that is labeled on the barrel. And another thing that makes the revolver so reliable, it is not dependent on having a stiffly aligned wrist and forearm like a semi-automatic. The semi-automatics require that rigidity to function so that the recoil stops at a certain point and the slide can still continue back and do its job. Revolvers, they don't care what you're doing with your hands. So if you're in an awkward position, you're in a fight or something, you're trying to fend somebody off, and you've got only one way to put that gun to use or something like that, or it's just an odd position, whatever it might be. I'm not going to go full gangsta on you, but this gun will work. It doesn't require that. You can even have a limp wrist, as it were. You can have this kind of geometry instead of this kind of geometry. The gun's going to fire. Another thing you're going to find with the revolver as far as the reliability, when they have a shrouded hammer like this Smith & Wesson, it means that this will be able to be drawn out of a pocket or even shot in a pocket, like a coat pocket, without worrying about it fouling. As opposed to, if you look at the blunt back of the slide of a semi-automatic, your average striker fire gun, that tends to hang up on a pocket gun. Like if you get a little one of these 380s or something, it tends to hang up versus the revolver with the shrouded hammer, very smooth, very easy, and it's going to come right out of any pocket or any holster. It's not going to get caught on your clothing. By the way, if you're going to pocket carry these, make sure you use a good pocket holster to be safe. Don't just jam it in your pocket and expect to not blow your foot off or whatever might be in the way. Now, one of the biggest things that make a revolver such a good defensive weapon is the fact it is an instinctive pointing weapon. In fact, there's a training video out there. It's all over the web like a rash. You can go find it real easy on YouTube or wherever. And it was a training film made by the United States Army in the early 1940s during World War II. And it specifically states that revolvers are instinctive pointing guns. What am I talking about there? What I'm talking about is that when you bring the gun up, the sights are almost automatically aligned. They're just, the barrel is going to be level with the ground, and it is going to directly follow your line of sight. So you don't even have to necessarily see the sights. The gun is going to stay aligned with the target. And that means that even if you can't see the sights, it's too dark or whatever, this gun is going to be probably on target. A lot of semi-automatics are not instinctive pointing weapons. So it is a fabulous gun. Yeah, the capacity is a little low on it compared to like a double stack 9mm or something like that. But the fact is, you've got a very good chance of getting the rounds that are in the gun into the target as opposed to everywhere else. Now, another great attribute of revolvers, which people are rediscovering, is the fact you can carry a lot of power in a reasonably compact package. This particular gun is a medium frame Smith & Wesson. It's a Model 65. It's chambered in .357 Magnum, which that's another good thing you're not going to get with semi-automatics generally, is you can put two different types of ammo in this gun. You can shoot mild .38 specials, you can shoot plus P .38s, which are about 10-15% more powerful than your basic .38, or you can put full house .357 Magnums in this gun. And the .357 Magnum is still credited as probably the best one-shot stopper cartridge on the market that's still in use. So you can get power that exceeds most semi-automatic rounds very easily in a carryable revolver. But if you're looking for real power to stop something, you can go immediately to a big bore revolver like this .44 Magnum. And again, the nice thing is you can download it if you don't want that much power. You can put a .44 Special into a gun chambered for .44 Magnums. The most powerful handguns out there are revolvers. The 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum being the example of the most powerful cartridge. So versatility and power in a carryable package is the purview of the revolver. Hey, are you a new revolver owner, or have you come back to the revolver and found them as interesting and fun to shoot as I have? Love to hear your stories. Go down in the comments there and just tell us all about it, because we would love to hear from you. Those are the reasons, the primary drivers of why people are rediscovering the revolver. And I'm going to go ahead and step out on a limb a bit, and I'm going to give you some recommendations. I mean, I've been carrying revolvers and using revolvers ever since I could shoot one, basically. My first gun that I ever bought was a revolver, Model 28 .357 Magnum. I wish I still had it. Stupid for selling that. Oh well, it is gone and never to come back, but have had a lot of other revolvers since then, And having owned and carried them for so long, I've learned quite a few lessons along the way, and I'm going to give you a couple of quick tips so you can select a revolver for yourself. Now, first of all, I would suggest you stay with a name brand, a major brand. Don't go with the bottom feeders. All right, my recommendations. Well, let's start with a small gun, since these are the most popular these days for pocket carry and backup use and whatever. But in particular, I like the Smith & Wesson 642. In fact, I did an entire video on it. I'll put the link down in the description. You can go check that out. I think you'll enjoy it. You can get more detail on it. But the 642, in my opinion, after having had quite a few small frame revolvers over the years, this is the sweet spot. It's an alloy frame, steel cylinder, steel barrel, and while it's not as light as, say, maybe the ones with the polymer frames, it's light enough to be very easy to carry. But it's not so light that you can't shoot it reasonably well. It's a little snappy, and you're going to feel it in your hand after, going through a box of rounds or something like that. But it's a lot easier to keep on target than the ones with the polymer frames, in my opinion. They're too light, in my opinion. This thing, it carries like a dream, and it comes out of a pocket or out from underneath your clothing, slicker than deer guts on a porch in November. Next up, let's move up one step in size and power, and we're going to talk about the medium frame revolvers. Again, just get a top quality gun. This one's a Smith & Wesson Model 65. Any of the K-frame Smith & Wessons are golden. The L frames are good too. They're a little stronger, but a bit bigger and a bit heavier. So you gotta decide, more weight, less weight, how much power do you really want to run through it. And other guns, of course, there are a lot of other medium frames out there. Colt makes a very good line. If I had to go Colt, I'd pick one of the new Pythons. They're just gorgeous. I've always loved Pythons. And I would get one of those. A little bit bigger and heavier than the K frame. It's about the size of the L frame. The Ruger GP100, excellent gun. That thing has been around forever. It runs like a tank. You really can't kill them, quite frankly. All right, let's move up to the big dogs, large frame revolvers. This particular one's a Smith & Wesson 629 in 44 Magnum. I also love the Smith & Wessons in 41 Magnum, the Model 57 and the 58. Those are my faves too as well, but the ammo's a little hard to get to. I particularly lean towards the 4-inch version for carry for bear use because it's a nice length. It's easier to get out of the holster faster, like on a chest holster or something. It'll come out of that holster faster because you don't have as much barrel length to clear than the 6-inch or the 7-inch barrel, something like that. But it's easier to shoot than the ones that are sawed off down to like, not sawed off, but that come from the factory with like 2.5-inch barrel, like the Ruger Alaskan. That's asking for trouble. This gun is heavy enough to give you a reasonable ability to get the thing back on target. And I did do a video about the fastest bear gun out there and compared this to other guns, semi-automatics and stuff. And I'll put a link in the description. You can go watch that video. I think you'll find that really interesting as well. Although if you need more strength in a gun, you could go to the Rugers. The Super Blackhawks, for instance, are famed for being super strong. So if you want to put those really super heavy loads in them, I would probably go with the Ruger rather than the Smith & Wesson. But large bores, yeah, you can carry them concealed. And I even did a video on carrying large frame handguns, a large handgun in summer. And I'll put a link there in the description. You can go check that out too. I think you'll find it really interesting. But that's my choice for a big bore. But if you're one of those people that have rediscovered the revolver and have decided to buy one, I want to give you this quick little tip. Now, everybody complains about the revolver being low capacity and slow to reload. So my suggestion is, if your laws will permit it, the easiest way to reload a revolver is to pull out another revolver. So if you're able to carry more than one gun, get yourself a backup gun or something like that. Carry this for first line and then have a backup. It's called the New York Reload, and frankly, it's the way to go with the revolvers. Carry two. Well, there you go. That's why the revolver is making a comeback, and they are hot right now. I'll tell you what. Hey, you know what else is hot? Just giving a big like on the video. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button for us. We want you on the LocaCarnivore team, so please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss a single video from us. Another thing, we do have a Patreon. We'd appreciate your support. Link will be down in the description. Go and show us a little love. And if you want more content and a chance, not a chance, but the ability to get some great LocaCarnivore merchandise, our website, LocaCarnivore.com, link in the description. is a fabulous place to go and browse around. Make sure you hit the little store tab at the top, and then you can get the LocaCarnivore merchandise. And thank you so much for spending your valuable time here with us at the LocaCarnivore today. We truly appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something good out of it. And remember, as always, Han shot first. Thanks for watching.